He had been lying there since early morning. By noon, nobody had stopped. By 2 in the afternoon, the count was somewhere past 40. 40 people who saw him, 40 people who kept walking. He was curled on the cold pavement outside a row of shops, his head pressed flat against his front paws, his fur matted and wet from the night before. His eyes were sealed almost completely shut. His body barely moved when someone walked past. No flinch, no reaction, just the slow rise and fall of a chest that had not yet decided to stop. He was not sleeping. He was disappearing, and not one person in 40 had stopped to ask why. That number should sit with you for a moment. Not because those 40 people were cruel. Most of them were not. They were tired. They were late. They had places to be and problems of their own and 1,000 small, ordinary reasons to keep moving. But somewhere in all of that busyness, a small life was ending on a public sidewalk in broad daylight, and nobody had time to notice. His name would eventually be Rusty, but on that Tuesday, he had no name. He had no home, he had no one. He had nothing except a patch of cold concrete and whatever warmth was still left somewhere inside him, which was not much. Rusty was a long-haired orange and white street cat. Nobody knew exactly how long he had been living outside. Weeks, maybe longer. Long enough for his coat to go from silk to knots. Long enough for a serious infection to take hold around both eyes, sealing the lids shut with crusted discharge and dried blood. Long enough for his ribs to become clearly visible through his fur every time he took a breath. He had probably been someone's cat once, or perhaps he had been born outside, in an alley or beneath a parked car, into a life that offered nothing warm or soft from the very beginning. Either way, by the time he reached that sidewalk on that Tuesday morning, his body had already begun making decisions that his spirit had not agreed to yet. He was not ready to go, but he was running out of time to say so. The infection around his eyes had been spreading for days. Without treatment, a cat in that condition can lose sight within the week. Without food and warmth, the body begins shutting itself down quietly, one system at a time, long before the visible end arrives. He had been on that cold ground for at least 6 hours when she arrived. Her name was Dana, 38 years old, a woman who worked the early shift at a small bakery 3 blocks down the street. She was not a veterinarian. She was not a trained rescuer with contacts and carriers and a protocol. She had no plan. She had not woken up that morning expecting her day to change. She was just a woman who looked down at the right moment and, for reasons she could not immediately explain, could not look away again. She almost kept walking. She had seen street cats before. You cannot save them all. You do not have the means. You have your own limits and your own life to manage. The logic was not wrong, but something about the way he was lying there stopped her feet completely. Not the wounds, not the sealed eyes, the stillness. He was too still, a stillness that had nothing peaceful in it, a stillness that was not rest. And something deep and wordless in Dana recognized immediately what kind of stillness meant. She crouched down beside him. She spoke quietly. He did not run. A healthy street cat runs when a stranger comes too close. A frightened cat hisses and backs into a corner. A cat who lets a stranger crouch within inches of him without any reaction at all is a cat who has already let go of the idea of escape. He was not afraid of her. He was simply done. Dana reached into her bag and found a small packet of tissues. She began, as carefully as she could, to clean around his eyes. The discharge had dried and hardened over several days. It took a long time. He held completely still beneath her hands throughout. She could feel every rib. She could feel his breathing, shallow and fast, like something trying very hard to continue. If you are still watching, you already know what kind of person you are. Hit subscribe right now because this channel was built for the people who stop. She borrowed a cardboard box from the shop owner behind her. She folded her jacket and placed it inside. She lifted Rusty gently into the box. He did not resist. She called in late to work. Then she called a local vet clinic and described what she was looking at. The response was careful and honest. Bring him in, but I want you to prepare yourself. Eye infections this advanced, combined with that level of physical weakness and dehydration, the outcome is not always what we hope for. Dana said she understood. She did not accept it. The vet examined Rusty for a long time, without speaking much. The left eye had sustained the worst damage. There was real concern about the vision in that eye. He was severely dehydrated. His immune system had been working entirely alone for far too long. But then the vet paused and said something quietly, almost to herself. His heart is strong. For a cat in this condition, his heart is genuinely strong. He stayed at the clinic for 4 full days. Dana visited every single one of them. She sat beside his recovery space and talked to him, the way you talk to someone who cannot answer but needs to know they are not alone. On the 5th day, she brought him home. He wore a clear plastic cone around his neck. He moved slowly around the apartment like a cat who had never been indoors before and was not entirely convinced the ground would hold him. Dana bought him a small gray sweater to keep him warm while the cone prevented him from grooming himself. She placed his food dish low so he would not need to stretch. He ate, slowly, deliberately, with total focus, like an animal who had finally remembered that eating meant there would be a tomorrow. Recovery took 6 full weeks. There were setbacks, nights when his temperature climbed and Dana slept on the couch rather than go to bed, vet visits that left her quiet for the rest of the day. But every single morning, without fail, he was still there, still in the same spot, still waiting, still eating, still watching her with eyes that cleared a little more each week. The left eye never fully recovered. There's a soft cloudiness in it now that will never leave entirely. But it sees. And what it sees most mornings is Dana coming around the kitchen doorway. Every time she appears, his tail moves, just slightly, just enough. People ask Dana sometimes why she stops that day when so many others did not. She always takes a moment before answering. "I don't know why exactly," she says. "I only know I could not have thought stopping about it if I hadn't." We cannot save every animal we pass, we know this. But there are moments when something cuts through the noise of an ordinary day and asks us quietly to pause, just for a moment, just long enough to look down. In that pause, a life either continues or it does not. Rusty is alive because one woman had 40 seconds and chose to use them, because she crouched on cold concrete and decided that a heartbeat mattered, even when it belonged to a stranger with no name, no home, and no one left to call for him. He has a name now, he has somewhere warm to sleep, he has a gray sweater he no longer needs but wears without complaint, and he has Dana, who still cannot walk past a street cat without looking down, just in case. Would you have stopped for Rusty that day, or would you have been one of the 40? Tell me honestly in the comments below.